This is the largest American helicopter, the Sikorsky CH-53K King Stallion. Its maximum gross weight reaches 40 tons, and it can lift about 16 tons. But back in 1960s, the original predecessor of the King only has a gross weight of about 19 tons and was able to lift about 7 tons. Although these twin engines Stallion were retired by the U.S. Marines in 2012, they still remain in service in the Luftwaffe and Israeli Air Force until around 2030. And this is the story of the Sea Stallion family. By the 1950s, with the development of nuclear weapons, the U.S. Marine Corps had realized that the traditional amphibious landings theory were no longer plausible. The future operations would have to be conducted with mobile forces able to rapidly concentrate, to seize critical objectives, and then just as quickly disperse for survival. This situation led to the vertical assault concept for amphibious operations, which require for a large, multi-engine assault helicopter capable of carrying 20 combat-equipped troops to accelerating ship-to-shore movement. This was consolidated with a larger U.S. Navy request for more powerful helicopters for fleet operations. So in 1950, to meet the combined service request, Sikorsky Aircraft developed the model S-56, designated the HR-2S by the U.S. Marine Corps, but more commonly known as the H-37 Mojave. This impressive machine is powered by two 2,400 horsepower Pratt Whitney R2854 piston engines, and it was the biggest helicopter in free world at that time. Impressive on paper, the aircraft was actually underpowered and hard to maintain, as well as never reached its expected potential. The aircraft's 4.5-ton useful load includes fuel, so the payload reduced further by how far or how long the helicopter needs to fly. To replace the Mojave, the United States Department of Defense issued the Tri-Service Assault Transport Program, and the Lingtemco-Vought XC-142A VTOL transporter won the competition. But XC-142A was considered unsuitable for shipboard operations by U.S. Marine Corps. So, as turbine engines were refined and came into more general use in 1960s, the Bureau of Naval Weapons solicited a turbine power assault helicopter capable of lifting 8,000 pounds of payload over a radius of 100 nautical miles at a speed of 150 knots to replace the Mojave. The Navy and Marines wanted a turboshaft power aircraft that was large enough to carry plenty of supplies, as well as can be folded up and stored in the ship hangar. In this circumstance, both the Boeing HC-1B Chinook and Kaman Rotodyne seemed inappropriate because they required lots of improvements to meet the needs. So in August 1962, Sikorsky Aircraft Corporation won the competition with a proposal for its model S-65, which is essentially an S-64 with a full cargo or passenger cabin. Then on September 24, 1962, Sikorsky was awarded a contract to build two YCH-53A prototype aircraft, and the first flight of the YCH-53A occurred on October 14, 1964. Also in 1964, the YCH-53A was eventually designated the CH-53A Sea Stallion and introduced to the public. After 2 years of testing, the first operational CH-53As were delivered to Marine Helicopter Squadron in September 1966, and they were quickly deployed to Vietnam at the beginning of 1967. With almost 6 tons of cargo lifting capacity, the CH-53As are a large helicopter for the day. Its empty weight is approximately 10 tons, and it can carry external load of 13,000 pounds, carrying 38 fully equipped troops or 24 litter patients plus 4 medical attendants. The fuselage of this monster was constructed of an aluminum structure, with aluminum skins, and fuselage was watertight, allowing water landings in an emergency situation. It also featured extensive use of titanium, which can reinforce the aircraft and reduce weight. At fuselage layout, the Sea Stallion operated much like a conventional helicopter, powered by a pair of 2,850 shaft horsepower General Electric T64-6 turboshaft engines. The two turboshaft engines transfer power through an intricate transmission system which drove the 6 blades main rotor and 4 blades anti-torque tail rotor. With this setup, the Sea Stallion could fly at 170 knots, with gross weights of up to 35,000 pounds, and its actual cruise speed is 150 knots.
They put the big bird through a series of maneuvers uncommon for a helicopter and unprecedented for a rotorcraft of this size, and more maneuverable than fixed wing transports of comparable size.
Although it is impressive in size, the automatic flight control system, incorporating a stability augmentation system of the Stallion, makes it highly maneuverable and robust. The flight control system continually provides short and long-term dynamic stability, autopilot and approach hover functions to decrease pilot workload. All these designs reflect CH-53 as a big, tough, flexible and fast, heavy-lift aircraft. They just proved their value for moving heavy payloads since they entered the Vietnam theater in 1967, particularly in the recovery of damaged aircraft in the Vietnam theater. According to some U.S. Marine Corps documents, when the last Stallion squadrons left Vietnam in the summer of 1971, these Stallions saved the downed aircrafts that worth about $600 to $7 million. For comparison, the average cost of one CH-53A is about $2.3 million in 1960s. With the perfect performance of CH-53A in cargo lifting operation, the Sikorsky developed the CH-53D with better lifting capacity, and the first flight of the CH-53D occurred on January 27, 1969. The obvious improvements for CH-53D including the more powerful General Electric T64-403 engine with engine air particle separators, EAPS for short, and an uprated transmission system. Based on experience in Vietnam, the EAPS could extend engine life in hostile environments by eliminating ingestion of dust and foreign objects. In fact, before becoming the standard item for CH-53D, the EAPS was commonly seen in the large amount of CH-53As operating in Vietnam. So the CH-53D is basically a A variant with the more powerful 3,925 shaft horsepower turbine engine. Except for a pair of 319 gallons main fuel tanks and sponsons attached to the fuselage, just like the A version, the CH-53D also feature two 650 gallons external drop tanks attached to the sponsons. These upgrades gave the CH-53D the ability to carry heavier payload and significantly improve its operating range. Now these twin-engine Stallion became the impressive machine that have a 19 tons gross weight and its useful load upgrade to about 9 tons. The twin-engine CH-53s were largely in service not only with the U.S. Marine Corps, Navy, and Air Force, but also appear to have been in service with the Luftwaffe and the Israeli Air Force. They just proved to be durable and reliable in combat support operations worldwide. The CH-53D was retired by the Marines in February 2012 after completing 43 years of service, and their final mission was done in Afghanistan. As for Germany and Israelis, their Sea Stallion will continually remain in service until 2030. As a capable heavy helicopter, Sea Stallions immediately caught the attention of U.S. Air Force with its heavier load capacity, faster speed, and longer combat range in 1966. And that is the story of the super jolly green giant and the odd-looking Pave Low. You can learn more about this legendary combat rescue helicopter in my next video of this channel. If you enjoy this series, please subscribe me right now.